Hi, this is Carrie Brownstein.
This is DJ Premier.
This is Darren Aronofsky.
You got the RZA right here.
Rose McGowan.
Radiohead.
Aisha Tyler.
Tribe Called Quest. Fred Armisen.
Prince Paul.
Javier Munoz. Seth Meyers.
Frankie Cosmos.
Flying Lotus.
Hi, we're Chaim, and you're listening to the Talkhouse Podcast.
What's up? What is up? I'm your host, Elia Einhorn, here in Brooklyn, New York. Joining us from Chicago, Illinois, the one, the only,
The executive editor, Josh Modell. What's up, Elia?
Hey, man. Welcome back to the show.
Thank you for that introduction. That felt really good today.
Bubala, you deserve it.
Aw.
Listen, you put together a very cool show for this week. Alison Mosshart in conversation with Devendra Banhart. How'd this come together?
Well, we knew Devendra had a record coming out, and we were trying to think of somebody great to pair with him because he's such an interesting, unusual dude. So ended up kind of talking to his people a little bit and came up with Alison Mosshart because the two kind of have a lot in common.
They really do. They're both multi-hyphenate artists, perhaps best known to Talkhouse listeners for their musical output, right? Alison fronts The Kills and Dead Weather. Devendra is a prolific singer-songwriter, but they're also painters. They're also writers. These two are all over the map.
Yeah, they're both, to put it in a silly way, kind of well-rounded artists. And as we learn, they're both really into skateboarding.
They're both really into skateboarding. Now, you quickly mentioned Devendra has just released his new LP, Ma. That came out last Friday, as you all are listening to this. And Alison just put out her new book called Karma, C-A-R, new word, M-A. That's full of photography, painting, poetry, and short stories all about cars.
She loves cars.
She loves cars.
Alison's had an incredible musical career. She was in a punk band in Florida called Discount way back when, but definitely got better known as one half of The Kills in the early aughts, which is a duo with Alison on vocals and Jamie Hintz on guitar. In 2009, I think her profile was raised even higher when she was drafted into Jack White's supergroup Dead Weather. She's also sung on songs by Foo Fighters, Gang of Four, Cage the Elephant, Arctic Monkeys. She's in demand for good reason because she has an incredible voice.
She does, and her stage presence is just fucking killer. Listeners, I want to play you a track from 2016's Ash and Ice. That's The Kills' last record. Check out Doing It to Death. She's a fucking rocker.
Yeah, and since then, she's been concentrating on other things, including this book, which came out through an imprint called Dover Street Market. But there is a deluxe version of Karma coming out on Jack White's Third Man Books sometime soon. We don't know exactly when, but she does talk about how it's going to be quite deluxe.
And coming out sometime before Christmas for all your gifting needs.
Perfect.
Now, Devendra's also released a book of his visual work, memorably titled, I Left My Noodle on Ramen Street.
Incredibly silly title for an incredibly amazing book full of his artwork and poetry, and he left his noodle on Ramen Street. He can't argue with that, really.
You can't argue with that. Devendra's shown his artwork at major museums, and on the music side, he's worked with everyone from Beck to Oasis. This guy, like Alison, quite a career. Devendra's new record, Ma, is sung in both English and Spanish and was very inspired by his relationship to the country he was born and raised in. That's Venezuela.
Yeah, it's a great record. And as he gets older, he was kind of known as the king of the freak folk scene. He's a little less freaky, a little more folky. I feel like this new record, Ma, is a little more accessible.
For sure. And there's some beautiful arrangements. We've got strings, woodwinds, keys, brass. I can't wait to see him play this record live. Now, for his autumn tour in support of Ma, he's doing something really cool. He's partnering with Plus One so that $1 from every ticket sold here in the States goes to World Central Kitchen. That's an organization founded by Nobel Peace Prize nominated chef Jose Andres to fight hunger around the world. WCK is currently responding to the crisis on the Colombia-Venezuelan border, which is something that's really been close to Devendra's heart. As he said in the press release around his new record, there's this helplessness, this place that has been a mother to you, that you're a mother to as well, and it's suffering so much. There's nothing you can do but send out love and remain in that sorrowful state.
I love that artists are doing this more and more, where they're just basically, tacking an extra buck on the ticket, raising awareness for something that they're really interested in, and raising money. You're already paying 100 different kinds of fees. You might as well pay one that can make you feel good.
Shouts Chance the Rapper, who did that for Chicago and donated $1 million to the school system.
Thank you, Chance.
From Devendra's new record, Ma, let's check out the track, Taking a Page.
Deep inside your heart, staring at the sky, calling out the shapes clouds make as they pass by. And first they thank you by pulling out your tongue, then you apologize for being where you're from. But I could hear the animals painted on the cave, and I was taking a page.
That's a fantastic track from a fantastic record.
And this is a fantastic talk. These two get into a lot here. We hear about all things cars. Alison growing up around them, painting with remote control cars, the exact model that Devendra calls the Crocs of cars, and their tales of driving on the wrong side of the street.
Yeah, that one's a little scary.
There's some scary stuff there.
They also talk about skateboarding as a gateway drug to great music, which I think was true for a lot of people.
They also get into the difficulties in being known for just one facet of your creative output.
That's right. These are multifaceted people.
Totally. And it's fun because they have different views on this. Alison also accidentally announces a very cool upcoming collaboration.
They talk about the phrase Gleaming the Cube.
And the film, of course.
Of course.
And Josh, when we've got a Banhart and a Mosshart, it only seems right and proper that they chop it up on a Beefheart. Captain Beefheart. Should we roll it?
Yeah, man, let's hear it.
Okay.
You made a book. It's really beautiful. I really like it. Is this my copy?
Yes.
Thank you so much.
You're so welcome.
I have two things for you that
Really?
I'm going to give you. And I will mention that I also make music, and I made a record. It's coming out in a couple weeks. So that's a book of poems. That's for you.
Awesome.
If you run out of toilet paper, there you go.
No,
and then
this is so great.
is
Oh, those are the crystals.
I think these are not the crystals, but something else that you might really appreciate. Just being on the road, you can't have enough snacks.
Salted egg, brainless shrimp head.
Right?
I mean,
Your favorite.
I'm so
I've missed a lot of birthdays, and I needed to do it up. Thank you for the book.
You're welcome. Thank
book
you for
is
this.
really,
I'm going to
really-
do these at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. Just they're exchangeable. They're both. The book is really beautiful. Can people get the book?
There's a couple, but it's going to come back out on Third Man. Third Man have a book publishing company. And
Cool.
so I wanted it to be available for as long as it needs to be available. So I'm going to re-release it with them and then do a special edition. I think that's like all chrome and
Whoa,
has like
that's
pull-out
nice.
tire
Yes.
track paintings and stuff like that. So I'm working on that.
Well, I wanted to ask you about the tire track paintings. Actually, they're really beautiful. What are you using?
I'm using a remote control car.
Oh, that's so cool. I love that.
I started with when I got my car in Nashville, I was really excited and I just I wanted to drive it. I wanted to make art with it. I wanted to film it. I wanted to photograph it. And then I had this idea just to, drive my car through paint, which is really stupid because it's like a brand new, perfect car. But drive it through paint onto canvas or paper. And a lot of people talked me out of it. Like, don't fuck up your car. Don't do that.
Those are not good friends because it would
So
have been
I
great.
needed either an old car that I could mess up the hole underneath, or that led me to a tire store where I went and bought a bunch of used tires with different treads I liked and tried to do that, and it didn't work because there's no weight in the tire. It's I had my full body on it trying to roll it. That was ugly. And then I found myself at Toys R Us pretty late at night squeezing all the monster truck wheels and stuff and seeing
I love this story. It's amazing. There you are going through Toys R Us.
Yeah.
Just checking
Touching all the wheels.
density of the wheel. What's going to be the right wheel for this piece? I love that.
I have my favorite monster truck that I paint with all the time. I mean, it's just brilliant. The whole thing is just like a paintball now with these just big tires on it.
That's so cool.
I love it. And then I have some other ones that I use by hand, that aren't sadly remote control, but they're nice for smaller things.
It could be interesting also to do if you drove a car, instead of the crash test dummy, it's a canvas and you fill the airbag with paint.
So just drive into the canvas.
You just crash the car and it explodes. The paint explodes onto the canvas.
You could just do the airbag without the car. And see
but it's fun to watch. That's a fun thing to see.
Let's try to make this really complicated and expensive. Let's see what we can do.
That's
And let's try to do
really
it
fun.
inside the house.
Yeah, it has to be indoors. That's so cool. And so it'll be available soon, a special limited edition and the regular
I'm
one that
hoping
we're
like
have.
before Christmas, like, November, early December. I hope, because it'd be exciting. Because I hate when people want something and they can't have it that I've made. I would hate it to do a record and it would be like 2 copies and then no one could have it. I'm like, there's no point. It makes me feel really stressed out. So I'm really excited that I'm actually going to have a real book.
That's great. Well, I've got a copy. You can't have it, though. No one can have it. Really nice. It looks great.
Thanks.
It looks great.
It was a fucking nightmare.
How long did this take?
It took me 1 exact month to make it.
1 month? Holy shit. That's actually pretty fast.
It was so fast. I didn't do anything but that. I got like really obsessed. And then that's it. And then I came out of the tunnel and I was like, oh shit, I got a book.
Amazing.
It's
but
fun. Now I want to make tons of them.
the work, though, spans how much time?
The paintings themselves,
How much time is there between the first piece done and then the last piece?
I mean, there's stuff in there from like 2014.
Yeah.
From when I was 14, not 2014. There is stuff from 2014. But like there's art. I had this idea to make this on a plane and I got home to Nashville and literally that night just started going through like all my old journals and everything.
So this
And,
pulls from the archives. It's not just one recent body of work.
Yeah, so then I put it all together in that month and found all those things. I added things and then I wrote the whole thing because none of the writing was written.
Oh, the writing is all new.
Yeah.
That's so
as I was kind
funny.
of putting it all together, finding these things and then writing bits to sort of tie it together.
I kind of got the opposite impression because I feel like the subject and the theme to some degree, which we can say is this kind of, there's something very romantic and there's a car theme, clearly it's in the title as well, but they're all unified. And the writing, it spans so many, there's like specific, it felt like what you write when you've been traveling the globe, because you've got different cities, there's so many different stories, but it's the opposite. It's work that starts when you're, 14?
Yeah.
To now, and then the writing was the thing that just was all done kind of in one go.
Yeah.
Totally, I got the opposite impression, but that's actually really great. That's amazing.
That was the scariest part, the writing, because the discovery, the reason I made the book is because the discovery as I was trying to make something much smaller was that, oh my God, I've had the same taste since I was a little kid.
Yeah.
I've been taking pictures of car crashes and cool cars and all of these things have always been themes, and I started painting cars and I don't know I know I'm so obsessed with them. My dad's a used car dealer.
Your dad is actually a used car dealer.
Yes.
And that is where this fascination with cars is born.
I guess so. I was just always around them. I mean, there's cars I hate and those would be in the driveway as well. But I've always loved the sound of them, the smell of them, and like the artistry of them. Cars make you feel, I don't know, like there's like a kind of, you're like protected, but also like you can be a superhero or something in certain ones.
Ooh, it's an exoskeleton,
Yeah,
kind of.
I also like the ones that have all different color panels and that are just like, Mad Maxed out, that are kind of a disaster with duct tape and everything.
Yes, I love a disastrous car
I
too.
think those are just as pretty.
I'm with you on that. What's the worst car?
Probably the Prius is my least favorite car.
You'll take a PT Cruiser over a Prius.
Yeah, you know why? Because I can hear it start and I can hear when it goes off.
Right, you want to feel the car, the tactility, the tangible.
You just want to know that it's a car because I can't tell if a Prius is coming and it creeps me out.
I see, but there's something admirable about the creepiness and the stealthiness of it.
But you just
Stealth
run people
bomber is
over with
scary
that. They
thing.
can't hear you coming.
Exactly. But I will say it's possible now asking you this question, I might take the PT Cruiser too.
You would.
Because it's aged in the way that Crocs have aged. So the PT Cruiser is kind of the Croc of cars, and Crocs it's kind of fresh. Like if you showed up wearing Crocs, I'd be like, wow, that's pretty good. because now is the time to wear Crocs. You know what I mean? Like the Croc was just like you could not possibly wear it. And then now I think it's pretty good. And if you just rolled up in a PT Cruiser, I think, oh, that's pretty good. But that maybe is testament to you. Right. Anything you were driving, I think, oh, that's pretty cool. But the Prius is the one, okay. But so your car is your favorite car. Mm-hmm. And
it is, definitely.
I don't know, do you want to share what your car is? I do feel like maybe...
I can share, and you know, everyone is free to go out and buy one. It's fine, I don't work for Dodge. They're not paying me to say this. No, Dodge Challenger. I love it because I'm obsessed with that movie Vanishing Point. Yeah, and that's the movie, that's the car that they had in that movie. So it's never going to stop for me. It's just that car. I'd like a 1971 one or a 70. That would be cool. But I don't think they had air conditioning, so I'd have to rethink that.
Oh, yeah, it's tough.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did they do? They just dealt with it.
They just had
People
the windows
just deal
down,
with it.
Man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, for me...
They sweated a lot. In the movie, he's sweating a lot.
It's true. They did. They really did.
But, almost every scene.
Or acting. I mean, if you... Yeah. I get the thing where the film is the introduction to that kind of falling in love with it. And I anyways, did you go to art school?
I did for a minute.
Where?
I went basically enrolled in the art department at the University of Florida and did all the classes that they had until I got down to I started from the top and then moved down. So I did 4th year classes first and ran out and did 3rd year classes and started 2nd year because I didn't need to go to any of the introductory kind of stuff. And when I got to that point, I just went on tour and never came back, basically. I loved it, though. I loved school. I didn't have any problem with school.
I've never heard anybody say that.
I really liked it.
It's the first human being I've ever heard say that.
And loads of space, and I had keys to the art department. And
you can go to...
I like space.
You go to Home Depot or something. They have big tables.
Yeah, no, it's different. I really liked it. And I liked walking to school, and I liked making art all day.
Yeah.
And I hated, though, getting up at 7 to go to French class because there were some other classes I had to take, and those didn't, pan out so well. I would sleep through them all. And
you had French class at art school? I guess that makes sense.
It was kind of, there was normal stuff I had to do, too. Not too much normal stuff. I think 2 classes a semester.
Do you speak fluent French?
Not at all. Not a word.
Okay,
I hated the class so much that I intentionally forgot what I learned.
Do you speak other languages?
I've been learning Spanish for a couple of years.
Have you written songs in other languages?
No, I sang a song in Spanish.
Tell me the story about that.
But I didn't write it.
What was the song and what was the context?
Do you know the band Diamante Electrico?
No.
It's not out yet, so I'm probably blowing the whole thing right now.
Oh, but maybe this will be out by the time that's out.
Yeah, I'm sure it's fine. But they had...
We can just change it to Shakira. It'll be fine.
It was Shakira. They had a bunch of people come and re-sing all this stuff on their record. It was one of the scariest things. I was sweating like Barry Newman in Vanishing Point, just worrying about my accent and if anyone could understand me. It was really fun. I worked so hard on that.
Wow, that's cool. I can't wait to hear that.
Me too.
We could try a little bit in Spanish.
Oh man, I'll die. I'll get too nervous for being recorded.
Cuéntame más sobre los carros.
I don't know what you should get. You should just go out in the street and look around and try to just feel what you like.
Okay, just walk into the middle of the street. Maybe the freeway? Yeah, okay,
anywhere
got it.
Where there's cars.
Okay, good. Thank you for that advice. Best advice I ever got.
Feel it.
Just walk in the middle of the freeway. Yeah, done. I one time drove on the opposite side of the freeway.
Really? Here?
I was 16. My dad gave me his Volkswagen as my first car, and I had never really partied and smoked too much weed. And at this point, I smoked a lot of weed. And I got in the car and I started driving. And then suddenly all the lights started coming at me.
I have a very similar experience.
Amazing. I think, tell me yours.
Well, first of all, did you get in an accident?
I just pulled over to the side.
Oh, amazing.
And just took it in.
I did not pull over to the side.
No.
But I wasn't on the highway. I was in Vero Beach where I grew up, and I'd been in England for a year or something, and I came back to visit my family. And my dad lent me Something similar to like a Yugo. You know what those cars are?
Yeah, I remember.
It's like
of course.
it's like the 80s version of a smart car.
Right, the Yugo. Wasn't that the Eastern European? That was like the car?
You could not pick a smaller car. I mean, it is like no car. It's a steering wheel and a tiny seat, and then
So you've got the Yugo. So it's your dad lent you.
Lent me, because, you know, he has cars. And so he was like, here, you can drive this one while you're here. Cool, thanks, Dad. And I'd been in England, and I'd been recording with Jamie. We'd been making these like demo tapes. And I was all pumped, I was all excited. We weren't even the Kills yet. We were just starting. And I was driving the car downtown is definitely an overstatement. There's just a part of town that is got like 5 roads where lots of things are. That's
Downtown Vero.
Yeah.
Vero.
There's a post office. But I was like rocking out, jamming out to my own music with Jamie. And he wasn't in the car, but I was all excited, and I don't know, I just made a turn the wrong way onto a one-way street. But the problem, there was nobody there, because it's Vero and there's nobody there. And I kept driving for a while until all of a sudden I started noticing that all the stoplights were backwards, just black. I couldn't tell what was going on. I was like, what's wrong with the stoplights? Weird. And then where the freeway dumps off into the town is the next kind of curve I took, and all of a sudden 6 lanes of traffic are coming straight at me, and I couldn't get out of the way.
Fuck.
And I hit a Cadillac on 3 sides, and I ended up in the yard of a flower shop. The whole car that I was in was just smashed into like a little tiny, I mean, I was fine. It was just me and my seat and the steering wheel that were basically left. And I opened the door and I got out. There's like fluids and things going everywhere. And the Cadillac I hit, I'll never forget it. It was blue, and it was driven by a shirtless older gentleman with jean shorts on.
It was Dave Navarro.
He was awesome. And he was like, damn it. His wife had totaled that Cadillac, and he had just gotten it back from the shop. It was perfect. Like, he'd had the whole thing
but that's
redone.
Amazing. Now that's karma.
And I hit it on 3 sides, and he was just laughing. He didn't care.
Oh, really? Well, that's amazing.
He was so nice to me.
What?
Yeah. It was really sweet. I was really shaken up. And he was...
Was that your first accident?
That's my only accident. I think the only one. I hit a deer one time in a tour van with a trailer on the back and drove into a ditch.
Oh, but that's
kind of
more
an
like
accident,
just
but
public service.
more like
just like
the
the nuisance. There's fucking deers everywhere. But you know, and when you get into an accident, you do see the kind of weird, not beyond exoskeleton and the personality of the car, and you see it's bleeding. You're like, this is this creature being thing that's like hemorrhaging now. It really is like you feel for it. You feel for this thing that's
I didn't feel for the Yugo, though.
Oh,
I felt like the Yugo was on its way out already.
Oh, really? You
It
put
could
it
not
out
have
of its
been worth
misery.
more than $500 at the time. I probably did it a favor.
And your dad was pissed?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was bad. Really bad.
Used car dealers get a bad rap. Okay, so the book is called Karma. That's why I thought I was making a hilarious joke, but it's spelled C-A-R and M-A. It's, in a way, also the catalog for the show.
Not
Or
really.
not at all.
No. I had done an art show right before that had a lot of cars in it, because it was kind of really, I painted it in LA and then showed it in the same gallery, and I was like, damn, I'm painting a lot of cars right now, because I think I was just standing in the street a lot. I think that sort of like cued, like, well, why don't you do something car related? I thought there could be nothing easier.
But you've been painting cars since you were 14.
I have, but I've been painting all sorts of things.
Oh,
But there's this kind of common theme that runs through. When I was looking back, I was looking in journals from when I was like 10, 11. I'm drawing cars. And when I first got a camera, that's what I'm taking pictures of. So it was really easy to grab up all these things and sort of lay them out and sort of try to tell the story, really.
But the work in this art show, some of it's in here. It's not all in here.
Yeah, there's about maybe like 5 pieces or something from the art show in there.
And the art show's done. It's not up anymore.
No.
Is there an art show coming up?
No, right now, I haven't decided what I want to do next.
Another book?
I do want to do another book. There's not
Because
gonna be
it's
any
like
cars
making
in
a
it.
record, a book.
It is. It's really fun. Well, right now I'm trying to record a spoken word. I hate the sound of my voice, so this is really interesting for me. I don't know how I'm going to do it. It's going to end up being...
You have a good voice.
Thanks.
You have a good voice.
But I can't listen back to it without...
You don't have to.
I do, just to make sure I said the right stuff. And
But don't listen and then tell yourself it sounds great. And then
I don't know. There's a lot of like kind of script stuff in there. So I want to play both characters with different sounds and stuff. And I was doing that last night. And I was crying, laughing, just like weeping. It was so fun.
Oh, that's amazing. Great.
So that's going to be the fun
You're
part
going to
of
have to hear that then if you're going to do that. But that's wonderful. And that's a challenge. That's a new thing. And
yeah,
I'm really looking forward to that. So you go to art school. You actually really love it. But then you decide to go and make music, right? Yeah. And when you were deciding what to call the band before you settled on the Kills.
Yeah.
Because that's what you didn't have a band yet. You already had the recordings.
No. We didn't have all the songs. We started as this band called Sonic States of America. It's pretty long.
Sonic States of America. And that's you and Jamie.
It's just me and Jamie.
Who I've met Jamie in passing through the years. Hey, what's up? Nice to meet you.
Yeah.
So we're best friends.
Of course.
And so you're called Sonic States of
America. And nobody really knew that, but that's where we recorded like maybe our first 8 songs. And by recorded, I mean on like a cassette beat track.
I mean, I like that name.
Those recordings sounded great.
And you decided that wasn't going to be the... How did you settle on the band name? I mean, here's the thing. I don't really know. I'm sure you get asked that all the time. I'm so sorry.
Well, we had dueling typewriters on the ground. We literally sat in front of each other with a typewriter each. Mm-hmm. And we just typed and laughed and laughed. And then would switch papers and look at and just make fun of each other.
That's fun.
Intensely until The Kills was down on a piece of paper, and that was the one that we loved and we weren't pissing our pants over.
Well, it's a good name. It's crazy that the name didn't exist before. You know what I mean? The history of music. I feel like that's...
Yeah.
It's hard to come up with a good band name.
It's really hard. And you know what? There was really not too much of an internet when we named our band, so we couldn't even check. So I think we got lucky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true. Or a lot of bands that were named that right, you know what I mean? You got them. I remember being really surprised and really impressed and happy to hear on that first record. And I was just starting out. I think my first record came out around that same time. But I was already obsessed. And if you ask me top 10 records of all time, one of them is Safe as Milk. And you do, I think, Dropout Boogie on that first record. Mm-hmm. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you, Captain Beefheart.
What a great record.
Oh, my God. I mean, he's the greatest painter of all time.
Exactly.
My favorite painter.
Somebody who is truly an interdisciplinary artist. Mm-hmm. And I wonder if you felt the same thing I felt, which is that, I'm making music, and then suddenly I'm at the same time, always since the beginning, I'm showing artwork and I'm working on visual work. But there was that stigma still. Oh yeah, you're a musician, you can't really do art. It was crazy to me that existed and still does.
I feel like it does and it doesn't. I don't know. I think I don't care.
I feel the same way.
I don't care at all.
But it's shocking that it exists.
Yeah. Yeah, it is weird. I think I can hear it. I can hear it when I have a show. I can hear people say, it's like, of course I'm going to be referred to as the person that everyone knows me. The thing I've done so long and everybody knows me by. So it's Alison from The Kills or The Dead Weather that's doing the painting show. But I don't mind because that's the truth. It is what I've been doing this whole time that I've been painting the whole time too, but I didn't start showing work until, I don't know, like 6 years ago. So I didn't expect anyone to know about it.
I guess I get what you're saying. I like that. It's like that kind of, what other people say about me is none of my business. Like, who cares what you think? I'm just doing my thing. And if you want to call me that thing or that thing. I like that. I appreciate that. I just, my heroes, at least, and it sounds like ours, for example, we're going to talk about Tom Van Vliet. It's just...
Do you think it happened to him? I bet it did.
I'm sure it happened to him. But it's like who we're taking cues from. They're just, you're just working on in any medium that you want to.
Yeah,
it's your own
whatever's
thing.
Exciting to you, you're just doing it. And you're doing all of it all the time because you just have to. It feels good. And, people are going to latch on to they're going to think of you as a painter. They're going to think of you as a musician. They're going to fight with each other. Let them do that. It's fine.
I guess you're so right. Like, who gives a shit what anybody... Yeah, it's true. It's true. I really like that. I think I did spend some time kind of, no, but I'm not just this one thing. And then you're right. Who cares? You're just like, fine. You just keep doing your thing. That's all that really matters.
It's way more interesting to be a whole bunch of things.
Absolutely. But also, if you just want to play one note. Actually, speaking of it, that's infamously Captain Beefheart. After years and years, I'm sure you know this story. After years and years of not playing, he's maybe the only human being who could get away with this. The one note show. He gets people are waiting, and he just hits that one note. Attack. Decay. Walks off stage. I mean, very few people get away with that. Maybe just him.
Maybe just that one time.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay, so it's called Vero, Florida?
Vero. Yeah.
Vero Beach?
Yeah.
Who was your teen pop idol? Did you have one? What was the closest thing to a teen pop idol? Who are you going to paste all over your bedroom wall?
God.
And make it embarrassing.
Let me think. Definitely Tony Hawk was all over my bedroom wall.
Yeah, Tony.
Especially, Tony. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I watched Gleaming the Cube.
I was just about to ask you about Gleaming the Cube.
Embarrassing how much. So Christian Slater gets thrown in there too because, you know.
Of course, Christian. God.
Yeah.
That scene where his friend lives in a sewer.
I was just gonna say that.
I'm like, that just blew my mind.
Yeah.
It was like,
didn't you want to live in a sewer?
And then of course,
to have dreams.
Ugh. So cool. I think about that all the time. When he's skating in that abandoned warehouse and the dust is like, because he's like just skating on his own to just get it out.
Yeah, that's a real 80s moment right there.
I mean, Gleaming the Cube. What a fucking great title.
It's a great title.
And I think we should start incorporating that into our normal. Like, what are you doing this weekend?
Gleaming the Cube.
I'm just going to gleam the cube. Yeah, I'm just going to do a little cube gleaming. What about you?
How many cubes did you gleam this weekend?
It's like, keep up. All-time record, 482. Let's talk about skateboarding.
Well, I wasn't very good. But here's the thing about skateboarding. I loved it. I loved it so much. I loved skateboard graphics. I loved when I was really little, like before I was allowed to have a skateboard, 5, 6, you know, I would go next door. There was these high school boys that lived next door, and they built a half pipe, and it was just like the single greatest thing I could ever dream of having near my house, just to witness. And I would always sneak over there and sit and watch them skate and sit right next to the boombox and just listen intently to everything that they were playing. And that's really how I found out about music. And skateboard graphics really got me into wanting to draw because I was obsessed with all of it. I mean, Thrasher at that time was like some next level shit. I wanted to order every sticker and every t-shirt, and, you know, that was my Teen Bop magazine. It was that stuff. And of course, after millions of times of asking, they would, but they'd never tell me what was on it. So still to this day, I have these moments where someone's playing like some 80s punk band or something, and I'd be like, wait, why do I know that? It's totally from one of those tapes. Like, I would never know. It's great to have those little moments.
You had a more real, tangible experience making that, kind of building that bridge between skateboarding and music and the discovery of music, because you're physically there in a half pipe, listening to a boombox that's playing music that skaters are listening to while skating, right?
Yeah.
And were you skating with them? I
wasn't at that age, but I eventually did. I skated until I was like 13, something like that, until I really started going on tour all the time. And then I just became very pale and, you know, lived in a van and slept on floors. And that was, my skateboarding days were over. Coinciding nicely with like not physically being able to go out in the sun suddenly. I see. Right at that age, I just couldn't go outside anymore.
Yeah, I see.
So I had to give up my sporty side, just went right out the window.
Is it gone still?
It's gone.
It's fully gone?
Yeah, it makes me sick.
Oh, wow. The fact that it's gone makes you sick, or going out and doing some sports makes you sick?
Going in the sun makes me sick.
Going in the sun?
Yeah.
I see. Well, there's, you know.
But that's okay.
You could always
I do like the nighttime better.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's safer for me.
I see what you mean. Yeah, okay.
So I picked the right career, I feel. You know?
Oh, yeah, that's right. But what I was trying to say is that for me, the introduction was through skate videos. So for you, you had the physical thing. You're there. You're actually hearing it, what people are actually listening to. I just had the skate video because I grew up in Caracas, Venezuela, and that was a form of currency. The one kid that has the Powell video.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, it was in Florida too. Trust me.
It was like
you found someone that had those videos.
You're
no one
the
ever
king,
left their house.
Or the queen. Yeah. And it's true. It was like that's how you get all your pointers: what to wear, what to listen to. But it was the coolest thing.
How to cut your hair.
Totally.
Yeah.
Oh man. But Gleaming the Cube, now that I think about it, I mean, the way he combs the way he rubbed, it's a whole the kind of generation of actors that were like, I mean, maybe the apex was River Phoenix. Just the way he just put his hands through his hair. Wow.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just be an Oscar for that. Like best hand through the hair.
Yeah.
But Christian Slater was really good at it too.
Well, let me ask you about your new record. When is that coming out? You're going to tell me it already came out. Something
It's
like
been
that.
out a couple years, and I kind of quit music.
You're done.
Yeah.
You're like, never again. Worst idea. I love that video. The one that's completely surreal is so cool.
One Night in Bangkok
the one that you
or
just
November
did.
Rain. Those are the only two
In
videos
November
I ever
Rain.
made.
I loved that one.
I know. It's
so
like, how did Slash get in that church?
I don't know.
It's tiny.
Yeah. How did he fit?
How did all those people fit in that church? I still think about that video because the way he kisses his bride-to-be, he like really shows the tongue, and it freaked me out. I was like, 12. Fuck, this is gnarly. These people are crazy. Americans, It's like, but what a world. It's been an honor gleaming the cube with you.
It's been so much fun gleaming the cube.
Oh,
Really.
we gleamed it. It's so gleaming. It's gleaming right now. Wasn't it gleaming?
Devendra Banhart, Alison Mosshart, thank you so much for joining us here on the Talkhouse Podcast. Listeners, we have a very cute picture of the two at this recording session on our socials. That's at Talkhouse across the board.
And you get to see Allison's car.
It's very cool. Today's talk was engineered at Electro-Vox Studios in Los Angeles by Michael Harris and at Hook and Fade in Bushwick, Brooklyn by Mark Yoshizumi, who's also our co-producer.
Thanks, Mark.
Listeners, if you missed last week's episode, definitely make sure to check that out. That was the one and only, the man, the myth, the legend, Brian Wilson, in conversation with the zombies.
Yeah, it was a great big round table. Al Jardine was there as well, too. A lot of history in one room, for sure.
Some pretty amazingly talented individuals there. If you all enjoyed today's episode, definitely check out the last time Devendra came on the show. He was speaking with Tim Kinsella of Joan of Arc. And for any of you who are in the Las Vegas area or who are flying in for Life is Beautiful Fest, Talkhouse is curating some very cool conversations that you can actually attend live. Make sure to head over to talkhouse.com and click on the events tab for that info.
As always, the Talkhouse theme was composed and performed by The Range.
Till next week, I'm Elia Einhorn.
I'm Josh Modell.
Peace. And drive on the right side of the road.
Definitely.
This is actually a real thing. I actually really mean this, okay?
Okay.
What milk do you think has the most protein?
Oh, shit. Great question. The listeners,
I know you get asked
the
this all the
listeners are
time.
on the edge of their seats. Hang on.